are proud barbarians and civilized contrarians. Some will call us pagans because we wear no weapons.
Hey everybody, this is Bill Gosline. I'm the creator of Baby Barbarian, and I'm here with my the international team that has helped with Baby Barbarian. And I wanted to, one of the things about the independent comic book world is that so many of us are working with international creators, and so I just wanted to take a time to recognize and honor our international collaborators, and in particular, my international collaborators. So I'm not going to say a whole lot this time, but I'm going to ask people to introduce themselves. And so I'm going to ask Miriam first, and here's what I would like to ask. I would like to ask you if you can give your name, Miriam, and how were you involved in Baby Barbarian? How did you get interested in what you do today? And what are some of the benefits and challenges of working from your country or your region? So you can also maybe tell where you're from. Thanks, Miriam. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mariam. I'm from Egypt. We started Baby Barbarian. I saw you posted requesting for colors, I think. I like the cover page, so I tried and had some colors on it, and I show it to you. I think you like it. Then we start going on with the rest of the pages. First, they were already colored in flat colors, and I really love the colors. That's what got me excited to the project in the first place. So I built from there, and we're doing now second chapter. So how I started in comics, I wanted to do my own stories. I think we all do. But I started with coloring because I love it. Like I was at first influenced by the manga community, but it really bothered me that it's black and white. I really wanted to do colors. Yeah, so I thought more about doing the Western comics and started with coloring because I like it more. I'm working on my art right now. About comics in Egypt, there isn't much comics going on in Egypt. Like we have very many comics specifically for kids. Like I don't know anyone working in comics in Egypt at all. So all my work is online.
What about just the creative community in Egypt? Or is there an exciting creative community that you're a part of inside of Egypt, or do you have to go digitally to find most of your community?
It's mostly digitally because there isn't much in Egypt. I go to some events and such, but and no one is very close. Specifically, that I'm not from art school. I'm actually a physiotherapist, so no one actually I know that is related to comics or art in many ways. But I had someone I knew in my hometown that was a great artist, and he used to encourage me a lot. I met a lot of people there, but he was fine artist, so that's where I started first. Not
So
exactly comics.
you made a mentor in your hometown, but is it important in Egypt to come from a traditional background in order to work in in order to work in art? Do you need to be coming from the university? Is it very much like that, or is there ability to move in and out?
It's not a problem in terms of like applying for jobs. It's not very important since you're gonna show your skills, but it's important. I think it would be important for me because I have no community. Like I don't know anyone to talk to about art, to challenge, to everything. Everyone I challenge is online. So I would have loved to have some art friends.
Yeah. And does your mentor, the man from your hometown, does he give you feedback on your comic art? Does he know what you're doing? Or is he like, oh, that's comic, it's not fine art?
No, he loved what I work, but he actually died when I
Oh,
started with comics. Yeah, I'm sorry. So he didn't witness a lot of it, but he encouraged me. Like the beginning of my art career through digital work, he was a pure traditional artist, but he understood digital work and he loved it. Yeah, he encouraged me in anything I wanted to do. Yeah.
well, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your mentor. That's a bummer. Yeah. So maybe I'm gonna go according to who's in the window. Then maybe I'll ask Fausto. Can you go next?
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Maria.
Well, I'm Fausto Chiodoni, and I was the artist behind the variant covers of Baby Barbarians.
Yeah.
And okay, okay. um, I entered into the comic art issues because my passion growed up with me since I was a child, and I started to read mangas. Me too, and since I was 6 years old, I think, and about growing up as an artist in Italy, something really inspirational, because we are surrounded by an amazing artistic and historical background, but unfortunately, the work of comic artists is not well recognized as like in other countries, and that's a pity. But the you know the lack of the internet and stuff like that is that it's possible to create something like that, like this community, or to find other artists, other commitments, and something like that.
Yeah. Can I
Okay.
ask? So when I was looking, I wanted to do a variant cover that was manga based, and so remember, I asked people, and I saw Fausto's art, and so both you and Mariam are more influenced by manga than by like the superhero Western comics. Would you say that that's more common to? Is that more common to find those where you're from, the
Yeah.
manga, or is it preference, or is it just because it's more easily available?
Mm,
Go ahead.
oh, go. No, go ahead. You
It's
first.
basically because of anime. Most cartoon channels on televisions used to present anime like Naruto and so. And then when I grew older, I found out about manga, and that's where it started.
Yeah.
Well, also in Italy, I was on a. I was born in a splitted period for in this topic, because in the 80s in Italy were more famous superheroes. But in the 90s, I'm from the 90s, it became more famous also anime like Dragon Ball, Pokemon, Digimon, and something like that. And I grew up with this stuff.
Yeah. That's I know what you mean by the split generation. Like for me, I grew up in the 80s, and so I liked all the superhero stuff. That's what I grew up with. But my son, who's like 22, he finds all of the the anime on YouTube. It's so easy to get. Whereas it's not the same with, well, I don't know. I mean, apparently he just loves it that much, so much. But I have one more question for both of you, and that is that, or for anybody, anytime I show Baby Barbarian to people, they always talk about Asterix. Do you know Asterix? Is
Yeah,
that something that you grew up with? Because I
yeah.
definitely grew up with Asterix.
No,
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 Mario, you didn't grow up
not
with
at all.
Asterix. Okay. Yeah. Are there any Egyptian comics that you grew up with? Like Kid Time?
Basically Disney, Mickey. That's the
Okay.
main thing here.
So
We
it's
have
still a,
some Arabic ones, Magid, and I don't remember the name of the other ones. They weren't very famous. Mickey was the most famous one.
yeah, sure. Okay, thank you. Igor, now this is the main artist, Igor, and I have talked with you before many times, but if you can just, give us a little answer some of these questions, we appreciate it.
Sure. I'm just yeah, putting them on. So my name is Igor Wolski. I drew the pages of Baby Barbarian. I also designed the characters based on Williams' ideas. I got into Baby Barbarian, and William contacted me quite some time ago with this idea. The idea was lovely. I got very excited to work on it because, well, the story, the idea was just, I don't know, very appealing, very happy, very positive. I mean, there's nothing more fun than to work on something that's someone's passion project, that someone is really passionate about creating, and be something that is just so happy, adventurous, fantastical. So that was lovely. How did I get started in all of this? Kind of how Fausto I started, as a kid, obviously. But I'm assuming how most artists start when they kid by drawings. At around 6, I was sure that I'm going to be a comic artist. Me and my upstairs neighbor were actually drawing full magazines, and we actually had a plan where we're going to open a comic book store where we are going to be selling the comic books. But I actually started my career at around 2005 with two webcomics. And it all started from there. I met a big community of other artists around the same age who were also starting out, who a lot of them are still today professional artists. So a lot of these people kept with this. So this was an awesome moment to start. Alongside the same people, we created a comic magazine that was coming out in Poland for about 5-6 years. And it all started from there. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting stuck a little bit.
No. I would ask, Mariam is not traditionally trained. Igor, are you traditionally trained?
No, not at all. I am self-taught. Because to be fair, we don't really have any art schools catering to this sort of comic art, animation, how you could think of animation, the animation that you see on TV and stuff like that. Most of this is, well, very, very based in traditional art. And from a lot of friends that were a few years older than me who went to our art school, I heard that, yeah, they learned some basics, but when it comes to creating comics, they basically lost a few years that they could have spent learning things on their own, specifically to what they wanted to learn. So no, I was lucky enough that I was pretty active publishing my art on the internet. So by the time I finished high school, I was already getting some work. So I just started working straight from high school. My parents were not super happy about it, but after a few years, they settled down.
Did they want you to be they wanted you to be an astronaut or a doctor or something?
Yeah. Well, for a while they were trying to kind of weasel, something actually respectable connected to art, like an architect or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I somehow survived.
Well, it's funny because like I did an MFA in writing, and there was like, yeah, there's not the the whole world that's opening up now that you guys, you know, as younger people are involved in. It's it's just different. I mean, all those old rules are really being, you know, the people who are making it um, in writing or comics are, you know, they are genre stuff. You know, they're fantasy or science fiction or comics or manga or anime, and yet there's not a lot of. They're starting to do training for it, but it's still sometimes it's still viewed in in sort of official education or academia, the academy. It's still viewed sort of with a in a bad way. You know what I mean? And I think somewhat that's changing, but it was still alive when I was at my MFA a few years ago learning writing because I wanted to write fantasy, and they were like, "Oh, fantasy, that's not real literature," you know. So I totally relate to that. Fausto, I forgot to ask you: are you traditionally trained as an artist?
Yeah. I attend a professional school for 3 years. Okay.
Well, I
And
guess if there's one place you do it, it should be in Italy, right?
yeah,
Because that's like the home of fine art, you know?
yeah. The pity is that it's a little bit too much traditional
Yeah.
in certain okay, in a certain way. For example, when I attend this training, um, I wasn't able to make a digital art. For example,
Mm.
we made only traditional art with the nib or the brushes
Mm.
for inking, for example. It's a great training, but there's something else in the world. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I do know that when I talk to artists, like then they still have to transition over from paints and pencils, and if they're going to be a working artist, they're almost always drawing on a screen, right? So like
Yeah.
it is definitely, yeah, I totally understand that. Igor, just to get back, are there any what are the benefit? I mean, I know, you know, when we were working on the second one, I asked you for artists that you liked in Poland, and you showed me examples of different artists, and I was really impressed by, I don't know how to say this, like the idiom of Poland, like just the feel of the art over there. It just it's very kind of, it's kind of bizarre and like very dynamic. I think it's, I don't know if it's, you know, like an Eastern Bloc kind of thing, you know, or, but I guess just to segue in, you know, you have an artist community that you're involved in, and but so what are benefits of that? But then are there also challenges being an artist in Poland?
Yeah, it's especially when it comes to comic artists, it's a bit of a specific situation because uh, I was born 2 years after communism fell, and during before that, comics were seen as Western propaganda, something that shouldn't be produced. So there was only maybe around 2 or 3 titles that were actually created for years, and this was the only comic people before that had. So the generation like 10, 20 years older than me, everyone is very nostalgic about those three specific titles of comics.
Mm.
But then after this stopped, slowly, I guess comic inspired by by the West or by like other European countries started slowly emerging. But this was like a very, very slow process. And to be fair, I think only in the last 15 years it actually started getting some traction. where still in the popular mind, in like the popular opinion in most people's minds, comics is still something considered only for children, something very much on the margin. Like even the popular titles are still printed about only maybe 2,000 issues, right? Which is very, very little. But the community right now is very, very, very dynamic. There's a lot of new young people joining in drawing comics. Everyone is doing it as a passion. There's not really. You can't find a professional comic artist making money by making comics in Poland. So anyone who is living off of comics is working digitally outside of Poland. But there's a lot of passionate people creating just out of passion. There's a few very big festivals, like comic events, where the community meets up to
showcase or support each other.
Exactly. So it's very dynamic. It's very still experimental. Like most Polish comics you're gonna see are, it's nowhere near like superhero comic or anything really structured. These are usually either one-off stories or very like artsy projects. It's interesting, but it's definitely growing very fast.
Would you, so like in the United States, comics have been around for a long, long time, right? This is the home of comics, right? And, they went superhero, but then like so many things, like when I was growing up, suddenly there were different comics coming out that were dealing with different identities, different ages, or real life, things like that. Do you think, so what I'm trying to say is like, for the most of the time, the comics were really sort of siloed inside of in a narrative, a story form that was really about just, overcoming being a superhero, overcoming, or a detective or something like that, overcoming obstacles. But then the genre grew up a little bit. And now you had stories about, what was it? Love and Rockets was, about young women growing up in, I think, California or something like that. Or R. Crumb, you guys know R. Crumb, and like Harvey Pekar. These are stories that are about very mundane events. And so the comic book really has now comics encapsulate all stories, all narratives. Do you think that Poland, did you guys skip the superhero and went straight to the big picture?
Pretty much, because it kind of when it started, it exploded like a big bomb of. At the beginning, it was kind of like this what do you call it? Like alternative movement. So at the beginning, people went very much to shock value and very using the space that they didn't have before to see where the line is. But definitely right after that, it went to trying out everything, because for so many years it was considered just this childish thing. People were clamoring to do anything but that. So they were touching on every topic possible, and I think it's starting to more normalized nowadays, because it's no longer this completely new thing. Now it's getting more to where books are, where just whoever wants to write about something, they can write about that.
So it started out very much with like a punk ethic, like a punk rock ethic.
Because
like
it started
DIY
as
punk
underground things, mostly like things that people printed on in Xerox places.
That's so exciting. That's so cool. Thanks, Igor. So and of course we'll circle back to hear about everybody's upcoming projects, but I did want to introduce Gonzo. Gonzo, how are you? And can you fill us in how your participation is with Baby Barbarian, and maybe answer some of these questions about being a creator in Spain?
Okay, my name is Gonzo Brios. I'm the outsider here. I'm not involved in the comics, but I am game designer, board game designer from Spain. Well, I'm more than a jack of all trades in board game industry because I have been developer, I've been illustrator, I've been graphic designer. I do everything I can in board game industry. So I think I remember I meet you in a board game platform
Yeah.
with job offers, and you talked me about Baby Barbarian. And when you show me the comic, I realized that even if you are an American guy, the comic now I I know Igor is behind the pencil and it has a lot of influence, but it's a very European comic with some mixture with don't misunderstand me, but the irreverence, the American irreverence. So it was a very
Irreverence. Did you say
irreverence
irreverence?
irreverence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Americans are less attached to history and
That's right.
traditions.
Irreverence
So,
is the right word. I just wanted to clarify. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
Good job. Good man.
Oh. So, well, when we start to talk about making a card game about the comic books, it was very exciting because as a game designer, we are always looking for well, challenge is very it's a very topic thing to say, but we are looking for things that are not, oh, okay, you made a game, and if I like it, if I like the game, it's okay. If you know, we try something else. No, we game designer love when we have bounds and you
Mm,
say something like, I only want cars, or I only want a small box. This kind of constrictions,
mm.
we love that. So this is what I do here, and I don't know.
What about being a game designer in Spain? Are there challenges, and what are some of the benefits?
It's hard because Spain is not a big market in board game industry. We are a small market. We usually make runs of 1,000, 2,000 games when we print a game, and we are an industry that usually um, license games
Mhm.
from other countries that create his own product. So, but well, in the last 10 years, it is the time that I am being surrounded in the board game industry. We grow up.
Mm,
We left behind the traditional games because Spanish has a great tradition of gaming. We love here in Spain play cards
mhm,
and 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 dominoes and well something like that. But we left that behind, and we are starting to embrace the modern board games,
mm.
Catan, and all the stuff that came after Catan in 1995. Catan was released. Yeah.
Is it that old already?
Yes, we are the motherboard board games, but Catan it has more than 20 years, more than
Wow.
20, more than 30.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. So and so there talked about some of the benefits and the challenges. And Gonzo, so maybe we'll go to the second part now. And I just would ask, what are you well, let me ask you first, what's your favorite game of all time?
This is a very complicated and complex question because there is a lot of games, and it's very hard to choose only one. I would say my favorite game is Twilight Imperium. It's a
Mm,
game for, I don't know if you know Twilight Imperium. It's a game for 6 players. It's about the sci fiction, the expansion, the conquering in other planets, and it's a game that is played through 6 to 9 hours. It's a very complex game with diplomacy, with yes, it's a monster. That is my favorite game. I can, with some luck, play 1 or 2 games in a year, but
Okay.
it still have a place in my heart.
It's like the cricket of board games.
Something like that.
Cricket apparently can last for days. The English sport.
Yes, it's like the Quidditch of board games. You can play for 3 days.
Yeah, that's crazy. So let's start going in reverse order now. So Gonzo, tell us. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what's going on with the Baby Barbarian card game, and then tell us what you're doing with your new job, and you just promote away, whatever you're doing.
Well, we actually are testing the third iteration of Baby Barbarian card game.
It's a third iteration already. Yeah.
Yes, and we have I think we have found a very interesting core mechanic for the game. So now is the time to put some background and try to polish every I forget the word. Try to polish every mechanic, everything in the game to make it work with the comic and its story. And well, right now I'm involved in so many things because I can stop quiet and stand in a place for a long time. So right now I'm working mainly as a graphic designer for a Spanish publisher. So I usually have open InDesign in my computer 8-10 hours a day. But also I'm trying to start my own project, a little publishing project here in Spain about board games, but trying to embrace that board games are traditional, made of cardboard and wooden and stuff like that, and we have right now in the middle of a crisis of all this stuff, and
crisis, right?
yes, and it's not gonna change in short term.
That's true.
So
that's true.
So I'm trying to explore new ways to still playing board game, because board games, anything that have the word game in it, video games, role playing games, all this kind of stuff. The important thing is the word games. Everybody play, every human and every living creature in the world loves to play, and it's something that everybody do. But perhaps we have to start to changing something in the platform of gaming. Video games are gonna resist better this kind of problems, better than the traditional games. So perhaps this is my idea with try to make to become a publisher with less cardboard, less wood involved.
What, like 3D printing?
Could be take advantage of the new technologies and try to get the traditional mechanic of board games to a digital environment, something like that.
Yeah.
New materials in one hand, in another hand, get digital.
And you said, no, that's really, I don't think we've talked about that, but I would love to talk to you about that more. But and you're also, are you guys launching a Kickstarter pretty quick here?
Not very quick, because right now I'm very busy in my job as a graphic designer, but I'm trying to I'm trying to make it something for the next year. perhaps,
but
if everything goes well.
oh yeah, no, that we're definitely going to kickstart our card game. But I was wondering, for your day job, you guys are kickstarting a game, right?
Yeah, we are gonna release a game that I'm the graphic designer. The 28th of November.
Nice.
It's a beautiful game about Formula One races.
Oh, fun. What's the name?
Pole position.
Pole Position.
Yeah.
We used to have a video game called Pole Position.
Yeah, it's. I think it's not the most original name for a Formula One because it's like many games are used that word, pole position, but it's a very original game. If someone like the subject, it's a very interesting game.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, Formula One is so big in Europe, especially. It's starting to pick up a little bit in the States.
And now that the American are the owners of the Formula One, it's becoming very, very popular in America, or that's what people say to us.
No, they are. It is, and I didn't realize it was because Americans acquired the whole franchise or the whole organization. I didn't realize that. So, okay, so Pole Position, November 28th. Thanks, Gonzo. Igor, how about you? What are you working on right now? Besides getting the last pages of Baby Barbarian over to me.
Speaking of, that's the last page, almost done.
Mariam, did you see that?
I've been
I'm excited.
Yes, I've been sitting on this egg for a while. But yeah, there's a few things. As always, I'm working always on a few illustrations, kind of the background. Yesterday, I literally finished an illustration that I had on the back burner for maybe the last 3 months. Took me way longer than I was planning on it. I am working on the second issue of my comic called Night Janek. That I'm creating with 3 of my friends. The first issue has been recently published in the US. If anyone's interested, it's
Behemoth Comics, right?
Yes, by Behemoth. That is like a side project of by a side project of Behemoth Publishing that's called Happy Tank.
I got those. Yeah, I bought those from you guys. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It came out first in 3 issues, and then as a collected one. So yeah, now we're working on the second one. The script is ready, so I already started sketching it out. I am also about 3/4 into writing a book about drawing in perspective, because it's something that I wanted to do for quite some time, because this is kind of something I feel very comfortable about and I feel good about. So I was thinking about making it into like a it's something I'm often asked about, so I wanted to maybe actually use this and put it into writing. I started it as a short article, and when I actually started writing, it turned into a little bit over 100 pages. So now I'm sitting on a book, so I'm kind of excited about finishing that up.
That's cool.
And
sorry, Igor, that's common for you. You start something small and it just gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah, it does.
That's very common. I mean, I've seen your pictures are like that too, right?
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, there's so many details everywhere.
Yeah, you start one evening and then you wake up a year later still working on it. And last thing, it's something that is a big project that I started quite some time ago, but it's still very early. So I'm assuming it's probably going to take me many years still. It's a project I'm kind of keeping under a working title, The Hand. It's a comic made completely by me, so written, drawn, everything, based on a few illustrations I've done between 2016 2018 that just very much plays on many themes that I personally find very exciting and imagination moving. This is something very much into a little bit of body horror without the horror part. It's more
Yeah.
It's more weird, kind of playing on some religious themes.
I've
It's
seen those pictures. It's like a hand is like this with a right.
yeah, exactly. If someone saw my illustrations with people with hands instead of their heads, that's that.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So yeah, so I think this is all I can list now.
Nice. That's exciting. If you need help with the translating the book, let me know.
I'm probably gonna hit you up on that.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Igor. Fausto, how about you?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I can tell something about our project.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to mention that. Why don't you mention
Okay.
it?
Yeah. Well, I'm working on Void Nomads, our sci-fi project, and that's my first sci-fi project at all. And I'm abused in working on it because of the great amount of artistic possibilities that a project like a sci-fi story can make me. And also, I like the philosophy behind our capability of working together. And well, moreover, I'm finishing personal stories about the loss of my dog, and I can say that's a sweet but also sad story, but it can also reveal how a loss can be a chance, of learning something about something about life in a poetical way. Okay. And I'm working also on commissions, on various commissions, and as a comic artist teacher. I started since 3 months.
Oh, you're
This
teaching?
new, yeah.
Oh, nice.
I teach to childrens and teenagers in this moment.
Nice. Good job. That's great. But we were just talking about there aren't enough teachers teaching comic art. Well, there you go. Fausto's on it. But and so Fausto was talking about there's this comic that I wrote a while ago called Void Nomads, and it's like a science fiction comic. Because I wanted to do something that was, Baby Barbarian is fantasy, and then I wanted to do sci-fi, something similar that has to do with, but is also has to do with family again, right? There's a big familial element in Void Nomads, and the kind of the fun thing is that we're going to start collaborating with an AI artist, so who will help with some maybe. The idea is to work on the backgrounds of what Fausto's already done, his art, and like figure out how to animate parts of the art. And so Gonzo, like you're talking about supply chain issues, right? So this is obviously this is something that's huge for comic book creators, and so just like maybe there's different ways to play games, online. I think we're trying to explore a different way to have a different kind of a medium for comics that would be online, because of course you can't put a rotating background on a page, but you could put it on a screen. So that's what Fausto and I and another artist are working on. And thanks, Fausto. So Mariam, how about you?
I'm working on some commissions. I'm not sure I can mention everyone, but I'm working on the Ignis Quadrant, the Dark Star, and New Nexus. They are all sci-fi too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'm also working on some small personal project comic of my own.
Nice.
Still starting out, but I'm going pretty fast now, right now.
So are you doing all the art and the colors?
Yeah, I'm drawing. I'm writing too.
Good.
I'm not very confident with the writing, but it's a story that I'm very passionate about. I might need some help with editing and reviewing it in the end, but I love the characters, and that's what I'm working on right now.
Oh, cool. Well, I'm happy to help if you need help with that stuff. But
Thank you.
yeah. So when so the commissions are you're doing all of the colors for those, or are you doing art for some of those?
And no colors. All commissions are colors at the moment. I'm working on building a portfolio for art to start taking art commissions too, but still starting.
What do you mean by art commissions? Like fine art, like portraits and stuff?
No, I mean drawing comics, like
Oh, okay.
illustrating. Yeah, not just colors.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Of course. Well, thank you. I had one more question for you and I forgot it. Oh, well, that's welcome to my world. Anyway, so now, oh, that's great. That was a nice, short and sweet, but very information-filled interview. Does anyone have anything they want to add? Your favorite comic, your favorite game, your favorite character in Baby Barbarian?
I'm excited for the game.
Yeah. Well, Gonzo and I are going to be, we're going to be on Tabletop Simulator, and we're going to be going through after this, right, Gonzo?
Right.
So if anyone wants to jump into Tabletop Simulator and play with us, is that okay, Gonzo?
If someone is, yeah, of course. If someone wanna watch what all you can imagine about making games that sound like something very funny and very. If you wanna see me and Bill struggling, trying to figure it out, how to fix problem, this is not working. How are gonna make this? That is the real game designing process.
They call it mechanics for a reason, right? You know, it's not. Yeah.
They have to fix like a piece of gear.
Yeah.
And sometimes you miss a gear and problems start to rise. Yeah.
Off balance. Yeah. Well, thank you. I am going to end the recording now, but don't go away. I just want to say goodbye. Thank you, everyone. This is Gonzo Brios, Igor Volsky, Fausto Ciodoni, and Mariam. Ciodoni, sorry, and Mariam. And this is the international crew behind Baby Barbarian. And as you as you listen, they're all doing incredible projects right now, and they're incredible collaborators. They've been incredible collaborators with me, and I've had so much fun working with all of them. So thank you so much.